Hello?
Dave, can you hear me?
Now I got you.
Dave said if you want to, I can call him on the Zoom about them.
I got to get
No.
it to can't participate because then people can't hear.
Yeah.
I got it now. I can hear everything.
Dave, can you hear me? I got to get it
No.
to can't participate because then people can't hear.
I got it now. I can hear everything.
Okay.
Okay.
I just called.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Okay.
All right. I'm ready whenever you are.
Just give me one moment. I've got to move everything back around. Okay. Oh yeah, I put that in my comments.
I was wondering, why is that so stinking loud?
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. I'm like, where's it? What's that from?
All right. Okay, here we started, guys. Let's get serious now.
All right, I think we can get started.
Call the meeting for the Environmental Advisory Council from May 16th, 2024. Today is actually Pennsylvania Native Species Day. Call to order, roll call. Cindy Mahalo here. Jennifer Vanas here. Dave Galush.
Here.
Dave? Can you
Here.
hear?
My God. Here.
From you, it says he's talking.
Here.
Dave, can you hear us? Dave can hear us, but we cannot hear you, Dave. Is the volume turned up? He's asking.
Can you hear anything?
The technician who usually handles it is out sick today and he, yeah.
We do have a call.
Dave, I'm going to put you on hold while we wait for you to answer, and we're going to ask about Joe Pinto is present. Joe Pinto? The technician who usually handles it is out sick today and.
Present.
Joe Pinto is present. Sheila O'Sullivan Feeney is present. Dave?
Here.
Dave is on the call, but we are waiting. There's a sound technical difficulty right now, and we want to make sure that we have it recorded that he is on the call.
You know, even if we can't, if he could he provide any comment via the chat function? To type it in.
I cannot
That's not
watch all of that tonight and do.
Yep.
Okay.
So, can you hear us now?
I can hear you.
He's not muted, but I'm wondering if he's muted on his mic.
Hey, Dave.
Hi, Sheila.
Your mic-
Muted because.
No.
Wait, okay.
No, my mic is not muted. It says that,
While we're getting started and Steve's working out that we just asked you while we're at the meeting if you were present. And if you just want to say for the meeting that you were present.
yep, I'm here, present.
Present. All right, so,
Just go ahead and just.
all right, Dave, I'm gonna just, while this sound issue is I'm gonna leave you on, so you can hear everything. And you'll have to bring it to our attention if you want to interject in something, all right?
Sounds good.
All right, we're calling roll call. Everyone has been called and a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. All right, item number 4, considering approving the agenda. Motion was put forth to approve the agenda. Can I, by Sheila Sullivan Beanie, seconded by Joe Pinto. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion stands. Public comments for agenda items only. Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 6. Minutes. Considering approving the minutes from our April 18th minutes. Joe, I know you wanted to speak on that.
I just wanted to say that for the previous approval minutes from the February meeting, not have a second.
Was at the April meeting, right? Item 6.1, it was not seconded, and we have it listed on as table
Oh.
versus
His mic
accepted
is
minutes. So we just want to clarify that for the
Sorry, yeah.
for the
March
record. Yep. For the report.
No.
Sorry, for the March meeting,
So we had
No,
a second.
March minutes.
We had a second without didn't have a second is what you're
We did
saying.
not have a seconded on the March minutes approval.
But there was the vote, was the vote
We-
100%
there was a vote.
unanimous?
There
We'll
was a vote.
take it as that.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
And the
March or
question is on item 6.1, Steve, it's just there was something technically said tabled versus accepted, and the minutes were accepted. So Joe's going to correct that in the report.
Sure.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fine. That's
That
a
might have
simple.
been because I
It's a
didn't have it
simple, yeah.
seconded. I don't know, because it produces it on its own.
All right.
Oh, okay, so it was looking for a second.
I think maybe it was.
Who made the motion?
Who made the motion? Sheila.
If somebody else will
I will
go
second.
ahead and do a second, and then,
Joe.
so we're just gonna go ahead and ratify the March minutes tonight. And that way you can move forward.
Great. All right, perfect. All right, item number 7.1.
We need to go back and do tonight's minutes
Oh,
Yeah.
based on that.
ratify tonight. All right, all in.
They don't have a motion yet.
I will motion to approve.
Joe Pinto has made a motion to approve acceptance of our April 18th meeting minutes and ratifying our March minutes to verify that there was a secondary vote. All in favor, say aye.
Second.
They see the second.
You need a second.
Seconded.
I second it.
Joe, Dave has also seconded. Who was it? Okay. We'll give it to Jen.
Ask Dave if he can turn, well, he won't, he may not be able to hear us then. Never mind. We're getting the feedback
Yeah.
because Dave has he has the computer on listening. And then we're hearing that again. That's what you're hearing as the feedback.
All right, Cindy is going to be monitoring you, Dave, in terms of any transactions. So the motion was made by Joe Pinto, seconded by John Cabanas to accept our April minutes and to correct our March minute to verify there was a second vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion
Aye.
stands. Thank you. All right, item number 7.1, which is the update and possible action regarding 14 Phillips Lane. I understand this property will be going back before the zoning tonight, will be back before planning commission next Thursday night. And it's anticipated to be before the supervisors on Tuesday, May 28th, I believe. Is that still how it stands, Steve? And is there any new information on it?
I'm not 100% sure it will be before the supervisors on May 28th. It may get moved to the June 10th meeting only because we may not have enough time to properly advertise based on the fact that it's coming out of planning commission just the Thursday before our meeting on that Tuesday.
Oh, we only got those dates from the last planning commission.
Yeah,
and that's what they-
I think that was the original plan,
Right,
but
okay.
I don't know that we're gonna have enough
No worries.
advertising.
So the
but
EAC did send in a
here-
modified, we sent in a
So
modified.
tonight, my understanding is, and I could be wrong, I thought they closed the hearing at the
Yes.
zoning hearing board. They're just gonna make a decision tonight.
Yes.
And then it will be before the planning commission, next Thursday for, they've already had one night with it. They would have another night impossible pass it on to the board of supervisors at that time.
Okay. So we at least know where it stands between zoning and planning. The EAC did send in our revised
Yep.
last month, and thank you for allowing us the privilege of extending our deadline to make sure that was in. Is there any new information that wasn't since our last meeting brought up, just to bring the EAC up to speed on that or any?
My understanding is we received a landscaping plan, a new landscaping plan, like within the last couple days.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
and so that will go back, that will get over hopefully to the Shade Tree
Okay.
Commission for their review at their meeting next Thursday.
Right. All right.
Couple questions. Steve, will the EAC review the landscape?
Probably not. It'll go straight to there because we just got it. I mean, it wasn't time to put it on your agenda.
So we'll never get to see that.
Well, you're welcome to see it. You're just not gonna be able to comment it on as a group.
Okay. Yeah, if you could have that forwarded to us, I think that would be good. Second question was, you said that the 14 Phillips Lane will be considered at the zoning hearing board tonight, and that is closed and that they are going to be rendering a decision.
I think that's correct. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure they had closed the
That's-
hearing.
That's what I understand as well.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? They've closed the hearing? That means they're not having any dialogue, debate, no public comment?
Yeah, so
What is
so
it?
that was what that would mean. That would mean that if I'm correct in my assumption, and please understand, it's been a month since that happened, so I may be off a little bit. But if they close the hearing, that means there's no additional testimony that can be given related to the hearing. The zoning hearing board, once they close the hearing, the zoning hearing board, I believe, has 45 days to make a decision. This meeting that they're coming up with tonight would be within that 45-day window, and they're not scheduled to meet again. So I'm assuming they're going to make a decision tonight based on the hearing that they had at the last meeting, which was in April.
So if the zoning hearing board has decided to close it, is that something that they would convey by some means to the public? So the
I
public
believe it
would-
was conveyed at the meeting that they closed the hearing.
So it would be in their minutes from the last meeting, which we haven't seen yet, or like, I'm just wondering, do I have to go to the meeting to hear if I can make a comment, or can I go online and look at the agenda and the minutes that are posted for tonight, and it would say, this is closed, we're only gonna, because.
I would have to look at the agenda. I don't know if Heather puts that on there. If
I was at the meeting and I do believe. it was
I really
closed.
believe they closed it.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
they said they were going to render a decision, and they actually even said that they might even deliver it before the next meeting, but then they held it to the meeting. So
yeah,
I understand zoning has already addressed it, and I understand planning commission is waiting for zoning's decision before they will move that project forward. And I understand the applicant accepted those terms.
yes, that was my understanding as well. And I believe they gave us an extension to the end of June for the township's conditional use hearing. But I I would have to look back at that to know that for sure.
Okay, thank you.
And at the end of the day, the zoning issue is that the property is impacted by the actual physical the property itself. And so those impacts of that property allows them the right to go before the zoning. So I'm expecting zoning to probably come back and allow,
I mean,
Something
zoning
that-
could come back with some conditions.
yes, that's what I'm expecting.
I mean, but it's more like they're going to approve the variance. It's much
They have-
more simple. I mean, they're more likely to say, yes, we're approving the variance for these 3 areas or 2 areas, or I think there's 2 or 3 areas they have.
And hopefully they just reduce the footprint and foundation of the property as and maybe consider some of the suggestions that we give. Did note it on the nights for the zoning hearing tonight, our amended EAC letter was not on it, but it was on last week's. When it went before the planning commission, it was added to the planning commission, but I know the amended EAC letter was not.
Yeah, we couldn't give
Yeah.
that to them once they closed the hearing.
Okay. All right, great. All right, so that is basically it. We have really no,
So then we know that the hearing was closed because then they never got and considered our revised letter.
I'm pretty sure they did.
we brought it up then.
I'm just saying, if they closed the hearing, we couldn't give them new evidence. But I mean, that's what I'm assuming. If they closed the hearing, that's why that wasn't done.
I know at the zoning, Heather actually gave every individual, board member a copy of it. because
Okay,
She
great.
actually gave that to them.
Okay.
Okay.
And
I was at the zoning meeting last month and she gave that to him because we missed the Friday deadline, to the agenda.
Oh, okay, well, then that was done.
And so that they were
Okay.
actually given because I gave comments asking them, had they received our 5-page letter? So
Okay,
Thank you.
so I know that they received that. So that's great. So we'll follow through with that and we'll work with that and hopefully, the environment will prevail on that. The other question we had, Stephen, I know this isn't we're still in the thing, Campus Boulevard. We know that you don't have any new information on that, but since we saw that in March and the plans, how we're on the clock of times, how does that work since the plans that we saw in March were kind of left in limbo while you're still sorting things out? How does that impact for us? Because we have not given an official comment letter on that property because the plans were changing. How does that work for us?
I would rephrase the question and say, when do you think we could expect to receive
I
revised
have
plans?
no idea when you will
No
receive
idea.
those plans.
Okay, because
At
I
this
know,
point, at this point, the applicant has given us an extension that I think takes us out, I believe, to July for the Board of Supervisors to take this up. If we don't have something settled between now and the middle of June, I believe we would then turn around and start the process because then we would be having to do it at the July supervisors meeting. It would be before you on your June meeting. It would be before
Okay,
but I do not see that happening. I really expect it's going to be extended out again. And I suspect you won't be seeing this till the fall. I
Okay.
mean, that's just the reality of what I think is going to
well, a
happen.
lot of us have a lot of travel and personal commitments coming up, and when plans like this come before us, it takes a lot of time on our part, and we expect this to be a very large, complex plan. And it just would be nice to get a sense of when it might be landing in our laps.
Yeah, so when it comes down to this, you will probably see this twice, okay? You will see this once as a conditional use. You will see it once as a land development. And so, because it's actually 2 different pieces. I don't know, they may decide to try to run them simultaneously. But because it is what they're wanting is now no longer in our code because of the change of the
Yeah.
code. My guess is they probably won't spend all the money to go through land development until they've gotten a conditional use approved.
okay.
But I don't know that. I mean, they may do something different. I mean, I don't know.
Well, when you said something about 2 things. It's my understanding that there are 2 property owners.
Yes.
Like-
Well, there's multiple property
There's like-
owners, yes.
One has like the old Apple vacation building.
That's,
That's
yeah,
the smallest one.
that's a separate
That's a
project.
separate one, and then there's one that's like the odd numbers and one that's like the even numbers or
Correct.
something like that. So there's like three different entities. Now, are they submitting a joint plan, or are we gonna see different plans?
So
From each
I
one of them.
suspect that you could see. You will most likely see two sets of plans. You will most likely see a set of plans coming from the Apple Group, which will be very different than what would come from the Henderson Group. And there's another group that's gone in with the Henderson on the even side, because they've taken 3 properties to make one, is what they've basically done. And so it's actually 2 different owners, Henderson plus a different owner.
It's gonna be like one development with 2 owners.
I don't know how many owners they're gonna have at this
Yeah.
point.
Well,
I don't,
multiple owners.
well,
but
let's
I
say
think-
today there's multiple owners.
Right.
I don't know what the development will be when they come in, because they may have an agreement of sale. I don't know all of that.
Right.
But-
For our purposes, I guess we were just looking at planning and logistics, so.
So what
We
I would
always
tell
have-
you,
that's awesome.
what I would tell you is I don't think Henderson will be in before the fall.
Okay.
And I don't have enough information to tell you for sure when Apple's part of the project would come in. It's a very different project, and it's,
I heard there's a rumor that they're actually interested in sustainability, so we're
yeah,
delighted.
yeah,
We're
there's
delighted.
some, I mean, I mean, I've heard all kinds of things.
Yeah.
We don't have anything that's been presented.
Right.
And I know that they at some point are gonna meet with the township staff and tell us kind of what they think they want to do. And then we will give them some feedback based on what we know, from you all, what we know from the different committees, and as well as what we know from the board. And then they will probably present something at that time that will come back in through the process and go before the board.
We look forward to that. Thank you so much, Steve, for that update. All right, we're gonna move on to number 8, updates and reminders. Great news, Newtown Square Food and Makers Market has taken the pledge, and they will not be using plastic bags. This is an awesome, they made this commitment last year and were able to follow through with it. The township and the EAC have supported this effort. Actually, we gave them 125 bags so that there'll be bags, and we're gonna 30 some bags for each one of their events. In addition, the Gather in the Circle group they'll be putting out reminders to everyone to bring their bags to the farmers, well, I call it the farmers market, but it's the food and makers market. In addition, they've put it in their guidelines, no plastic bags, but they're encouraging their vendors to use, whenever possible, green sources for any type of the food container. They are constrained because they do have to deal with the health department and they have to follow all those rules. But the great news is they are moving in the right direction, and we appreciate Gather in the Circle for taking that, really, it's aligned with what their principles are, and we appreciate that. We also appreciate the supervisors because the township supplied them with the 125 bags, and we're grateful for that. Update on the community outreach and reusable bags to the library. We're doing the last call on those bags. We delivered another 50 bags to them. And once those bags are exhausted, that will be it. But library has been fantastic with that. And we spoke with one of the board members from the library when we were at the committees meeting last week, and to thank them. And they were very excited that the bags had been given out for their book sale and to their members. So they were grateful for that. Janet, item 8.3, update on Bird Town Hike and the Bird Town Town PA events. Anything?
Yes, so Saturday, the 11th, we had a wonderful bird hike at Garrett Williamson. They opened up the property to us again. And it also was in conjunction with really CRC for the sign up. We had approximately 25 participants and 2 great presenters, Mike McGraw, who also always is fascinating, even if he never sees a bird, he hears it and he knows what it is. And then also Phil Whitmere, Vice Chair of Birdtown, was also present to help with the identification of the birds. So we really would like to thank the collaboration that we had. It was really wonderful. And it was at the same time that Trails and Greenway was having a walk there because they had to cancel the previous one because of poor weather. So for Birdtown, PA, I just wanted to mention that please go to the website that you see on this particular handout that we have. This will be available wherever you see the Birdtown sign that I carry around. I will also have these brochures about our recommendation for native plants, which is becoming even more essential.
Great, thank you, Janet. All right, next item is 8.4 update on EAC completed events. And as you know, we've had an EAC event from the middle of March spring. So it's been an extremely busy spring for us. Cindy, you want to give us a recap on Arbor Day?
Sure. There were probably over 50 volunteers at the Arbor Day event. We had a very strong turnout. A lot of students from the high school, a group from a local church, some college students were there. All of the trees got planted and mulched, and because we had so much manpower there and so much mulch, we went and mulched a lot of the other trees, some of which were in the tubes, so we got extra work done. Very positive event. We have sent thank you notes out to the participating organizations, to especially the contacts at the high school, because they were a big contributor of volunteers, and I want to nurture that channel. So the thank you went out to the 2 co-advisors for the garden club and the advisors for the honors, the National Honor Society and the Science Honor Society. And I thanked them very much for helping promote that event to the high school students, and just asked if they would continue to keep us in mind and send kids our way again.
And you had great turnout from Newtown Square Press.
Yeah.
The church as well. That was
Yeah,
awesome. Wonderful.
Springton Lake Presbyterian, yeah.
That
We
was
had like
wonderful.
over a dozen and 2 of the pastors.
It was a great turnout, and thank you for everyone involved with it. And it was great for EAC to collaborate with Parks and Rec and Shade Tree and all the other organizations. Other item we did was Eclipse eyeglasses, thanks to John Butler, who organized that. He collected those glasses and made sure that they will be reused, and we kept them out of landfills. That was an awesome news. Janet, anything on the native plant giveaway?
Well, that happened on Saturday also,
Yes.
starting at noon. Cindy came to help. I had purchased a flat of mountain mint.
Ooh,
And so we gave them away in clusters. We have a number left over, which I'm going to donate to Paul
wonderful.
for the pollinator garden, the Drexel Lodge Park. And the flat was paid for by the Historical Society, so we really appreciate that. And
Wonderful.
there were a number of other plants as part of the swap, because the Historical Society, Kathy Cavalier, had a whole collection of different kinds of plants that were there. I know that Sydney brought some.
Right. All right, we've got to move on to 8.5, the update on the Liseter HOA. They introduced in the Asian Grass Carp. I understand that they did file the permit for Fish and Wildlife to get that. I guess we're kind of really limited. We gave our concerns.
They filed they got the application, and the fish are in the pond.
Yep. So,
And
Fish are there already?
the fish are there.
Oh,
And I spoke with Mike McGraw. He did, I had put him in contact with the chair, or the guy who's the head of the subwater group there. And they talked for about an hour. And Mike said that he was pretty knowledgeable, pretty receptive, open to sustainability topics. They talked about other factors that were contributing to the algae growth in the pond. Mike is also concerned about the fish. He says that we can just hope that they are sterilized non-reproducing, which they're supposed to be. And I said, there is a spillway that leaves that pond that goes right into the stream. It goes right into our reservoir. And Mike said, many states ban Asian carp. It's a concern nationwide, and they have been known to crawl over land. They are big, aggressive fish that have been known to crawl over land.
Well, the good thing is
So-
we're aware of it and we are limited what we can do. We understand. The great news is we made them aware of our concern. We made them go through the process of getting the permit.
We did not make them
Well-
do that. They already were doing that. We had nothing to do with that.
Okay. The concern for us, as we discussed with them, was they're treating the LJ is to treat the symptoms, but they're not dealing with the root cause. So hopefully they'll learn from this experience, and all we can do is continue education and communication. And hopefully, you know, they decide a new pathway, but it's really nothing else that we can do.
Well, the fish live for about 10 years, I think.
Hopefully a cold winter might change things. All right, next item is update on Sustainable Newtown Square Green Business Coalition. Great this week. We got ICDD has taken the pledge, and they are on Campus Boulevard. So that was a really good news story that they've taken the pledge. We will discuss at our next meeting, and we'll go into a little bit details because I want to get everyone's ideas for a plan, the possibility if what we want to do for spring 2025, if everyone's on board with that, with doing another mini conference like we did. We felt that was really helpful, but we want to make sure that everyone's involved in that process, and we'll put that on for our next month's agenda. Upcoming EAC events, we've got a lot going on. Janet will be at the Sunday, May 18th, the EAC table will be at the concert in the park. She'll be giving out bags and promoting Birdtown.
That's
And
Saturday, the 18th.
Saturday, May 18th, yep, 4 to 6. On Thursday, May 30th, EAC members will be at the annual Sustainable Conference for Delaware County at Widener University. Who is registered for that?
Right.
Okay, I am registered. Dave, are you registered for that?
I am not yet. I'm hoping to attend, but I may need to be out of town for work.
Okay.
I should know in the next couple of days, but my preference and priority would be.
Sure, if you can, that'd be great. I know that the conference is requiring for us to register by, we've already registered, but to do our class track selection by Sunday. I chose a lot of the businesses, and I would hope that maybe Cindy, you and I could do different classes to make sure that somebody's at all of the ones. There's tracks for like representatives, track for government, track for businesses, track for individual property owners.
I'll have to say, I may have
Yeah.
already made my selection.
Okay, so, and Dave, you just do whatever you can, but if you can attend, just make sure you register.
If you and Cindy can send me the classes you have registered for, I'll just intentionally
Perfect,
go to other ones.
perfect. All right, the next item will be our, Friday, June 14th, the EAC will be at the Newtown Square Food and Makers Market. We'll have a community outreach table. Janet will be there. I'll be there. Anybody else? Dave, Joe, Cindy, anyone want to join us there? You're more than welcome. The more the merrier.
So I reached out to George about the EAC awning that we have.
I have that.
You have it?
Yep.
Okay.
The banner
The
or the
banner.
awning?
Well,
banner.
the awning over
Well,
the table.
The awning is the township.
The townships.
Okay, but
Wouldn't the EAC?
doesn't say anything on it. On the awning.
Okay, well, whatever it
The
was.
banner
I have.
is the EAC banner.
Right, and I have a Birdtown tablecloth as well.
Okay, we'll coordinate that because I understand the makers market want us to bring everything ourselves and try to be as independent from them because they already are busy with other things other than setting up. So you and I will be there for that, and anyone else from the EAC is welcome to join us. And on Monday, June 17th, from 5:30 to 6:30, the mosquito control, Dave, you are kind of organizing this. Do you want to give any information on this?
Yeah, so that'll be done in conjunction with Birdtown, and then Birdtown PA, excuse me, and then the Delaware County Health Department. We'll have a representative from the Delaware County Health Department there to speak about control measures for mosquitoes and in relation to West Nile virus, and then go over some other natural and sustainable ways to control mosquitoes So just at a very high level, that's the agenda.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Janet, with that, we're gonna make sure that Birdtown has theirs time because you're gonna be speaking about pesticides. So
Yeah,
that'll be
so
awesome.
I'll speak after,
Yes.
obviously, and have these available again.
Perfect.
For our residents.
Perfect. All right. Item 9, new business, discussion and possible action regarding EAC's free workshop. Well, we just discussed that on the thing that Dave brought up. Item 9.2, discussion and possible action to authorize EAC to use funds to help support the fall tree program. Cindy and I met with Shade Tree. We just wanted to get a conversation with them going about.
I'm gonna have you back up. I think you need to take an action on
Oh,
number 9.1.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that you've taken an action to actually do this
Actually, yeah,
webinar.
that's right.
And so you just probably
Okay.
need to go ahead and vote to do that.
Okay, a motion was put forth for the EAC to host a mosquito control and West Nile virus community education at the township on Monday, June 17th, in conjunction with the Department of Health. Motion was made by Dave, seconded by Joe Pinto. All in favor? Aye. The motion stands. Perfect. Thank you. Thanks for that, Steve.
Thank you.
Item number 9.2, discussion and possible action is regarding the EAC for the shade tree. Cindy and I met with, or talked with Carol and Trish, just to kind of get the ball rolling for the fall plan. We understand that everything regarding this, the selection of trees and all of that will go under shade tree. EAC's role in this is really prioritizing, making sure that stormwater management is our concern, and we make sure that we work with shade tree and the township, that we pick specific areas that are heightened in the township stormwater maps. We will be meeting again on Monday, May 20th. There is a tentative date that has been set up, but I'm not going to give that just yet because I think everyone's still deciding if that's a good date. Cindy, is anything else on that? And I think what we can do is just take a vote to allow the EAC to continue on this path. We don't have the specific numbers yet because Shade Tree is giving us the dollars. We assume it's going to be roughly $3,500, but I think what we'll do, that was what our budgeted was for. We'll be expending all of our budget for this particular item. We don't have the particular numbers at this month, but I think it was just more making sure that the EAC, all EAC members are supporting this effort. So we'll just make a motion that we will continue in the conversations with Shade Tree.
I'm sorry, if all you're doing is doing that, you don't need to make a motion to
Okay.
do that. If you were going to take an action to set aside, to allow, get this right, you're going to allow the shade tree to spend the $3,500 that's in your budget related to trees, then you can make that motion. But if you want to wait until you know for sure what the number is, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll wait for the exact number because there was a couple questions about the guard. There's some materials that they were going to get for, and I'd rather have the exact numbers, to be honest with you, because it comes through our budget. All right, item 9.3, June e-newsletter. Cindy has offered to do an article on stormwater, which will be great. We're looking forward to it. And Joe, want to tell me about your article?
My article is going to be on how to encourage children to get involved in recycling.
And
Sustainability. Yes.
That'd be great. Anything else anyone has? If we can, Janet, if you have anything, that you want to add to that, we're really going to need that by Friday, June 7th. I will be out of the country and I got to really make sure that we get that out. That will be published date on June 13th. So just for your own purposes, but I really would love if we can start making sure that we have a file of pertinent articles every month that relate to things that we want to make sure we communicate. So stormwater is great, involving kids because their home is great. Anyone having any ideas for June? Anything else?
Well, I just wanted to share that Birdtown has a blog and a newsletter and anything that they publish there, we have access to be able to use.
Right. So what I'll do is if we get one of those articles, I will CC you on it just so that when we send it to the editor, she knows that we have been given permission.
Right.
Perfect. All right, wonderful. And if you can, start thinking of July, because before you know it, it comes around the corner.
Sheila, I have a question
Yep.
for Steve on the June, on all of the e-newsletter articles. because it's a digital newsletter now,
Yes.
and there are many links to resources. Is it possible for the editor to monitor the click-throughs and give us metrics on the readership of these articles? I believe it's a relatively simple thing for them to embed that code. And I think that would be very useful to know what the readership is of articles. I don't think she can tell us who's reading a particular article.
Right.
But I think an indirect measurement would be to get the click-throughs, the number of click-throughs on each link.
I can request that information.
That's okay.
Excellent
And actually,
idea.
we did get a compliment from the editor. She said that she was impressed with EAC. We are one of the top leaders of providing great content with a variety of interests, and she really appreciated that. So that was, she said with some other committees, they struggle to get things, so they're thrilled that we're providing that. And I'll tell you, every month we seem to have some really
Yep.
phenomenal things. And actually, is tonight the e-published? It's going to be published for the May edition is tonight?
It'll either be tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah, so that's something to look forward to. And Janet, when you're at the, the concert in the park, just encouraging residents to take up and become a register to subscribe to that newsletter would be really helpful for us.
If I can say one last thing,
Yep.
Steve, I really want to compliment the township on this e-newsletter. I think it's been running about 5 or 6 months now.
Yes.
And I think it's great. It's keeping with the times. I think the editor does a really nice job of putting it together very quickly. I think it's readable, it's short, it's perky, it's,
Yep.
it's action oriented, and she does a nice job of repurposing those things on Instagram. So I think whoever you've got doing this is doing a nice job.
Yeah, we're pretty pleased with what's happening with that.
Yeah.
We felt like that was ended up being a really good move. You're always nervous when you make those kind of changes, how that's going to impact. We're still trying to get our
Readership
number
up, yeah.
of readers up. So we're going to be doing some drives to encourage that over the next couple months. And so we'll see where we go.
It was great sustainable effort, but also what I like, when we do send out content, she then sends it out during the month, during that specific day, which is wonderful because
Yeah.
a lot of times we're doing that and she's doing it with us, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So is there a QR code that goes with it? For example, if I'm at the event on Saturday and invite people to click on the
Yeah.
QR code.
She actually just came up with a nice flyer we're going to use on Friday at the Food and Makers Market.
Right.
That has the QR code on it.
Right.
I will see if we can't get you a copy of that.
Right.
And then you can have it for
Okay,
Saturday.
good.
And
Yeah.
it's the same one that they put a QR code in our tax bill
Yeah,
this year.
we've done some different things.
Which
It's the
was
same
nice.
one, but
Right,
that we're gonna actually have it at the table on Saturday. I mean, on
Friday.
Friday.
I'll stop by.
There's no reason for us not to give you that
Right.
at the end of the night, or you have a copy for
Sure.
you to take.
Okay,
And-
good.
And Steve, I think that's a great idea. And if that is something that can be shared not only at the concert on Saturday, but the Bakers Market tomorrow, all the makers markets,
Yes.
like the West Nile virus thing, maybe by the library door or something, anywhere.
Yeah, we need to start getting it out more, get people more used to seeing it.
Yeah,
Right.
and then if people can just scan that QR code and
Yeah.
sign up.
awesome. All right, so looking forward to all of our June articles, and if you can, start thinking of July. All right. Item number 10, old business, Gable Park, concerns regarding stormwater. We already took the vote for us to move forward in support. I know George is lead on that, so we're gonna follow up with Parks and Rec to see what their thoughts are on that, and we'll wait.
We're
Cindy,
following up with them, or we're gonna wait to hear?
we already submitted to George, you sent to George our issue, and we gave them the
Yeah.
solutions. George is lead on that, so we will talk with him to see what else he needs us to do to fill in the gaps. I understand Parks is working with them, so
Yeah, I really think this is probably gonna be a 2025 project. I
Okay.
mean, is what I'm looking at. What we're trying right now to do is build what we think we want to do, so that just generally, so we can start putting our thoughts together, so we can hopefully potentially get a grant to assist on this.
Cindy has to leave, so no worries on that, Cindy. We understand totally, and thank you for coming. So that'll be great if we can follow up for Gable Park. And another thing is, before we'll just go into board comments, just for a note for June, we'd love for you to have budget items for 2025. Cindy, did you hear that? Budget items for 2025. We're gonna, for next month, just to start percolating in your mind. Any ideas, Joe?
Yeah, so
2025?
remember, if you
We're
were
gonna
at
do
the
it differently.
meeting,
Yes.
we're gonna do it a little differently this year. So we're going to, instead of just coming up with the list of budget items, really be asking you to put together, thinking of, in light of the strategic plan or the comp plan, we want to tie everything back to one of those two documents. What it is that you would like to do in 2025. We're going to present all of those things. We're going to have an opportunity for you to present those to the board in kind of a workshop format. It won't be a business session of the board. It'll be just an opportunity for you to come in and present what it is that you want to try to accomplish in 2025. And then once they've heard all that, they'll give me feedback. And from that feedback, I will give you feedback as to spend time on these three items, because these are the things that they're going to be willing to fund so that we know what's going forward.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And when do you expect us to meet with them? Just because we even have to start percolating.
Yeah,
ideas as well.
I'm thinking that the committees will either, I have to see what the board schedule is. It'll either be, I'm guessing early September, where I think it's going to end up being at this point. Just because I don't think there's time to have it happen in June before everybody takes summer break.
Okay. And normally we usually have our budget kind of sorted by July, August. So.
Yeah, it's a little
Yeah,
different.
little
It's going to
different.
make me work harder at the end of the
Okay.
year. But without having a finance director right
Yeah.
now, I can only do
See,
so
we
much.
Can only do so much, and we
And-
will do with anything we can to kind of help.
My focus right now is making sure we get the 2023 audit done.
Yep.
I will jump on the budget at some point, but
Right.
it's not right now.
So,
I have a question about the budget. Birdtown is a 501c3,
Yes.
so they can get funds for projects that they have. Am I allowed or able in any way to let people know that the Birdtown can accept donations?
for a specific Newtown event?
Well,
Or
I don't
let's
think
say,
it would be for a specific Newtown event, 'cause
Okay.
it would go into Birdtown. Birdtown then does give grants
oh, okay.
to communities. We might not be one of those that get the grant, but.
Oh,
I mean, I think we would
See,
want
that's
to,
why I'm mentioning it.
yeah, I think we would want to be careful how we did that because we don't tend to publicize 501(c)(3)s to give to.
Right.
right.
The only one that I know that we actively do that for is the fire company. And the reason why we do it for the fire company is in the second class township code. It specifically says we're responsible for fire
Right,
services.
right.
And I've been telling our board and hopefully telling most of the residents in the time that I've been here, if you haven't heard me say it, you'll hear me say it right now. We win when we have a volunteer fire company.
Right.
We contribute roughly, I think it's about $300,000 to $400,000 a year to the fire company from the township. It costs them a lot more than that to operate. If we had a paid fire company, it would probably be very close to equal to what our police budget is.
Yeah.
Our police budget is $4 million. And so when I say that we have a really great deal having a volunteer fire company, we have a really great deal.
And we're
so
grateful for them.
I encourage folks to give to the fire company.
Yes.
Because if not, I can tell you your taxes would increase accordingly.
Your company is
and for-
amazing. They
And
do
for
amazing
most
work.
of us, that would be pretty close to double. So a good contribution to the fire company helps keep them as a volunteer. And they've been able to get additional volunteers. So that's a good thing.
Good. All right, for the EAC, I will need our June EAC items to me by Sunday, June 9th at 8 a.m. And as I mentioned, I'd be traveling, so if you can, even before that would be great, because my family will not want to sit in Ireland waiting for me to do agendas and reports while they are out gallivanting, so. Next item is the committee meeting we had a couple weeks ago. And Steve just wanted us to go over a couple things, just to bring everyone up to speed. If we can, we have to be mindful to make sure that we don't add things last minute to the agenda. So everything is possible to not only work off of our posted agenda, but try to encourage everyone to get everything done. So that way, when the agenda goes up, it's everyone that reads it can expect it to go as according to plan. In addition, we want to make sure that, and we do this, that all the members have read the packets and prior to the information, so they're aware, and I know that we've done that, just making sure we have that. Steve did go through a couple other points about, verifying just the flow of information, making sure that we're all working together. And Cindy and I were in that, and I think that's really it from an EAC perspective. And anything for a specific vote to make sure an action item is taken care of and that we're following the rules of the meeting as accordingly we are. Also, we have the dates for the e-publications for the rest of the year, and which is nice that we have that timely information. And I think that's it from what I need to tell off. Janet, anything else that you'd like to add?
No, but are those dates available, that whole list you said that you had?
Of the
dates
published,
Of the E.
right,
Will that be sent out?
well, no, because there's two different dates. There's
Oh,
the
okay.
date that we have to hand it off to
Yes,
them.
right.
So this is the date that it has to be turned in.
Okay.
But I needed a couple days
I see.
before then,
Okay.
because I have to kind of edit through and prioritize and see what can go out. So
Okay.
I will send that out, like I said to you, I've just given you the date that I will need, the June 7th will be at 8
Yes,
AM.
Right.
Because I've got to turn that around and then get it to Jamie. And if
Okay.
I am delayed, I mess up Jamie, and it just is a cycle. So we all have to
Okay.
meet our deadlines and,
So if we're
communicate.
not gonna send you something, we should let you know that also.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
good.
please, especially and I've given you the articles are due by June 7th at 8 AM, and our
Right.
items, normally I say a Monday morning at 10, more Monday morning before, the week before our EAC
We
meeting.
did like
but-
June 9th. you said.
Yes, this month
Right.
is Sunday because the 5 hours of travel.
Oh, okay. Ireland.
Yes, I'll be in the middle of my day when you're just waking up. So that, all right, Dave, anything else that you'd like to add?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, Joe, anything else that you have? All right, before we move into public comment, anything from the public comment? Awesome. All right, so seeing no public comment, this meeting is adjourned. Thanks, Dave. See you, buddy.
Thanks, everyone. Sorry we had the technical difficulties, but glad we worked through it. I'll see everyone later.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's great. Hey, listen, Steve, did you see this new article, this Franklin Groups? Well, it's interesting. It's called the Franklin Maps, right? Oh, sure.